Hello, everybody. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Three Losers in a Church. I'm Chris, Sam
I'm-
Sue, Tyler Page.
We should have like an intro to like, and the prestigious Christopher Hort of the clarinet, the mediocre Sam Sue of the Ivory Keys, and then Tyler Page, the man of many talents, but they're all useless.
Oh, that's valid, yeah.
Roller skating.
Roller freaking skating.
That's debatable.
I didn't know there was a difference between roller skating and rollerblading.
Yeah, there is.
Rollerblades
they're
are
used
inline, right?
interchangeably. Yeah.
Interesting.
It's like the square rectangle.
Yeah, I can only do inline.
Oh,
I haven't tried recently.
I'm really good at both. So
Useless talents.
Anyway, this is episode 7
7.
called Spiritually Swoll.
Said that with a straight face. I'm impressed.
Yeah, I'll give it to you.
The secret is to just never have a straight face, so there's no distinction.
Yeah.
It's like a healthy level of nihilism in your...
Gentlemen.
That's fitting.
It is. I guess to elaborate on this, it's kind of a vague topic, sort of vague, talking about spiritual health, physical health, I guess even emotional health to some extent, and the disconnect, or rather lack of disconnect, between those things. Kind of bridging them, I guess.
Yeah, and then I also think like the misconnection, I guess. That's not really a word, but
Yeah, it is on
misconnection.
Craigslist. Yeah,
What?
missed connections. I think they got rid of it.
Anyways.
Wait, what?
They did. There were some laws put in place. Anyways, we're not going into that. But like
I'm
the
confused.
disconnect. There
Yeah.
we go.
Yes.
Of the idea of physical and mental health being connected to spiritual health. I think a lot of people think that like spiritual health, like if you're really healthy, then you're probably doing good physically. Right? But it's just as true the opposite way, if not maybe even more so.
Right.
So yeah, I think we should definitely touch on that idea as well.
Yeah, 100%. The question is, where do we start? Physical health? Are any of us in good physical health?
No. Yeah, this is a very interesting topic for the three of us because I don't think any of us practice good either physical health, eating habits, sleeping habits,
No.
even like good mental health practices.
Yeah.
But I think that works. I mean, we're tying back into episode 2, broken leadership here.
Yeah.
So just broken
Yes.
bodies and minds.
Mhm.
Emphasis on the broken.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I had a calzone just now and a slice of pizza
Yeah.
from Bruno's. Bruno's, please sponsor us. Yeah, I'm not healthy at all.
No.
Especially without like an income. It's like, oh, I have to eat whatever is in front of me or in the kitchen. So blessings. I have to say, at least I get food at the end of the day. Sure, it may be a lot of carbs, but I'm not complaining. I don't go to bed hungry, which is really good actually, considering I have been unemployed for 3 months straight, and now
You can say it. You're employed.
I'm employed. Yeah, by the time this episode drops, which is like October, oh my gosh.
Yeah, we're ways out right now.
Yeah, I would have been working for at least a month or so. Future Sam Sue, I hope you're doing okay. Emphasis on okay. He's probably suffering right now.
Probably.
But yeah, physical health. I haven't worked out for 2 weeks.
Yeah,
I don't know where to go from there. I'm sorry.
No, I think about the same. 2 weeks. I mean, I haven't been to the gym in a month. I was on a good streak for a while. I was eating better. I was not totally well, but better. I was going to the gym. I was like sleeping regularly. I felt well rested like most days. And then like this week, I mean, I've been on the verge of a mental breakdown all week.
Yeah.
I've never had such a strong craving for Flamin' Hot Cheetos than I did on Wednesday. And I fulfilled that craving. And I've never eaten them so fast in my life.
I've had a craving for Cliff Bars for about a month or so. I think the last time we hung out and we were at Target and I kept looking at that box of Cliff Bars and I was like, should I not? And then we didn't. That was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I-
You never bought Cliff Bars.
I didn't, but that craving was fulfilled because I went home today and in the snack bin,
There was some Cliff Bars.
not just some, there was a lot of Cliff Bars. I'm talking like 15, 20 Cliff Bars. Bless up John Page. But that Cliff Bar just tasted so good.
You're peak physical health.
Yeah,
I-
you're
apparently
perfect.
I'm peak physical health. I mean, no, that's a disaster.
Ladies, this man, he has a 10 pound dumbbell that he
I
keeps
do,
in his room.
yeah,
He just does bicep curls.
just bicep curls
Yeah,
all day.
only bicep curls.
Yeah. Anyways,
It's not about the body, it's about the personality.
yeah, there you go. I have
Yeah.
a 10 out of 10 percent.
Debatable.
Anyways, but yeah, like on the flip side of that, like I think we should break this down because this is getting very disorganized. But I think there's like three things that we really touched on of like healthy practices, like in physical activity, healthy practices in diet, and healthy practices in sleep and rest. And also in the sleep and rest, like taking time off from work and off from a bunch of other things too. So
Yeah.
that kind of thing. So I think those are our three main ideas, right?
So can we talk about why that matters?
Why what matters?
I mean, why should we care about these three things to be healthy in, right?
Oh,
How do they all connect together, those three things?
I mean, rest, I think a lot of people, I'm glad you clarified that because I think people hear rest and it's like, oh, sleeping, maybe taking a nap or like, relaxing a little bit. But yeah, time off of work, like, I don't know. There's an element of mental there too, for me at least, rest. Because I can sit down on a couch and not do anything, but not necessarily feel rested or better.
Sometimes you have to feel worse.
Yeah, sometimes that's anxiety inducing for me.
And the whole idea of like a sabbatical too is really crucial.
Mm.
And I know that word has like really weird, like church employee vibes to it, which
Yeah,
it
or like
should.
tenure track professor.
Right,
One of the
that
two.
one, yeah. Or like paid time off is a sabbatical, right?
Yeah.
But like today's my day off from work. Today's my work sabbatical, right?
Right.
Like
Like
I enjoyed
Sabbath,
it.
same word root.
Yeah. Oh, true. Yeah, thank you. That's the word I was looking for.
Sabbatical.
Yeah,
Yes.
my brain got so fried.
I mean, what's the reason why people take sabbaticals? I mean, we said it already, like it's rest, right? The very fact that it's implemented into a system of either ministry or even like work profession, they acknowledge that you need to not be working all the time. That you have to take care of yourself, that you have to have the energy to continue doing things, right? I think like sleep, right? How it's so important. I don't know. We've had nights where we pulled all-nighters, and the next day we feel like absolute garbage, or we do the best we've ever done before. But it's just like making sure you take care of yourself right before any of this, before you attempt to do anything bigger, right?
Yeah.
There's like an importance to that.
Because if you're trying to, at least for me, if I try to take on some task after, like if I do an all-nighter personally, I'm toast the next day. I'm useless. And like, unless I can accomplish something like during that all-nighter, then the next day, like anything I try to accomplish is just not going to happen. Or it's going to be like half-hearted, and I just would have been better off delaying it probably than pulling an all-nighter.
I think that's usually the plan.
Yeah.
All-nighters are that like last resort.
Yeah.
Like, you should have done all that ahead of time, but you just procrastinated forever.
Yeah.
That's your last opportunity. But yeah, when do they ever benefit you? Like the
Yeah,
next
some
day
people
you're
think they
fried.
can do it,
Right.
but I don't know. Maybe they can, but that's not me.
I just yeah. I think I've pulled only like 2 all-nighters in my entire life, 2 or 3.
I worked overnights, but I don't think that counts.
Yeah, I mean you're making money. I'm just procrastinating.
Yeah. I tried it in college, and no, I'm good.
Especially in such a high energy area, right? Because I think like there's like we talked about the trifecta earlier, right? I think they all 3 of those points. What was it? Body, diet, and spirituality.
Rest is what
Yeah, I think we're
Rest.
mixing 2 trifectas
Gotcha.
here.
But it's a trifecta where they all directly affect each other, right? Like if you don't take care of one aspect of that triangle, the whole thing's gonna collapse at some point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think they're all interconnected, right? Like when we're tired, we tend to eat worse, and we tend to skip out on doing physical activity or like that kind of stuff. And I mean, I think it also relates to like intentionality is a big part of it. Is like going like, oh, this will benefit me physically, right? Like I will feel much better. Like we all know, like if you eat something like really healthy or you like sleep a full, REM cycle or whatever
What's
it is.
that like?
Right. A life I don't lead. But or like you do that thing called exercise.
This
Just
is-
terrible. Like it's gross. Makes my skin crawl. But like you feel better afterwards, right? And how that relates to both mental health and spiritual health is crucial, right? That's the other trifecta you were talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's self-fulfilling.
Mhm.
Like, I go to the gym. Oh, I feel a lot better physically, and then it also makes me feel better mentally, which makes me want to like eat better, which makes me want to go back to the gym and keep doing it.
Right,
It's
right.
like a cycle.
The discipline.
Yeah. Whereas I noticed the other day, like when I am tired, I notice that's when like my chocolate cravings are
Oh,
the
for
strongest.
sure.
I've been trying to give up sugar for like months, and like it's the hardest. Like I noticed the other day, like when I was falling asleep, I was like, I really just want some chocolate. And then that's also when my willpower is the lowest.
Mm.
Mm.
Luckily, I don't have any in my house, or I'd be screwed.
Willpower or chocolate?
A little bit of both.
A little bit of column A. A little bit of column
I mean, yeah, I love ice cream past like 11 p.m.
Mm. That's when it tastes the
I
best.
mean, I like ice cream at every hour of the day, but like 11 p.m., I'm like,
Oh yeah, after a long day.
It took me
That's
so. Yeah, I think the first time I had, because in case you guys don't know, this household likes ice cream. That's an understatement. It loves ice
yeah,
cream.
it's
The freezer's
obscene.
basically a giant ice cream freezer.
I think
is
we
there
have-
anything else in your freezer?
Some ice.
Some cheese,
I think, yeah. Cheese.
maybe meat, frozen vegetables that we
Yeah, an
never
obscene amount
touched.
of frozen vegetables.
Yeah. Where was I going? I don't know how you guys do it. We have 3 currents of ice cream right now. I believe it's sherbet, coffee, and no, it's 2 now.
Yeah, I think someone ate the last one.
Oh my gosh. But the fact that we have to constantly, it's like, oh, even when I'm like looking at the newspaper now, I'm just like, oh hey, it's a two for hood ice cream, $2 per carton. Y'all interested? And then it's just like, oh, look what's in our freezer now. So yeah, it's the temptations. I only bring that up because it's funny you talk about like ice cream after 11. I like could not do it. Like I
Really?
want to so badly, like chocolate ice cream with like a banana and then like some chocolate syrup. Oh my gosh, I was craving it. Only until yesterday I was able to do it, but like I was just like,
And of course, like you were talking about how like it will perpetuate like good habits, right?
Mhm.
But on the flip side of that, right? Like you eat chocolate ice cream with bananas and chocolate syrup on top, like at 11:30. You go to sleep like 20 minutes later. You're not gonna fall asleep the same, right? Like your
Yeah.
body doesn't handle well with sugar that late, right?
I get bloated.
Yeah.
I there's an actual there's a
Yeah.
correlation between me eating ice cream at late hours with
Yeah.
my lack of ability to eat. It's very
Mhm.
fascinating. Only until recently have I noticed.
Yeah. For me, it's acid reflux.
Mm.
Get heartburn wicked bad.
I mean, you eat hella Tums.
Whatever.
Hecka, Tom's.
Hecatoms.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a problem though. You're right. Yeah. It's
Oh, I didn't mean to.
no.
It's
It's
not-
no.
this
It's
isn't an
cool. I
intervention.
acknowledged it a while ago. I just haven't done anything about it. Well, I have, but not enough.
I mean, I had an ibuprofen addiction for very low. Oh, hi there.
Oh.
Oh, this got dark.
So now mental health. We're talking about drug
Well,
addiction.
yeah, it's like the dependencies, right? Because then all that in itself, if you're not careful, then it's also just bad habits.
Hmm.
I mean, like, that's a good transition to our next idea of, like, either habitual practices or being, like, intentional practices, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's easy for us to sit here and say, like, eat good,
Right. Like
sleep
everyone
good,
has been telling you your whole life.
go get 60 minutes exercise a day, right? We've
Yeah.
heard that forever, right?
It's like
And-
people who smoke. It's like you got to stop smoking. That's not healthy. It's like, do you think they haven't heard that since they were
Yeah.
2?
Well, hopefully I haven't been smoking since they were 2, but
True. There's some rough times.
They see some stuff. They see some
gangster
stuff.
toddlers. But like, yeah, like how, and I think this is like calling us out as much as everybody else. Like, how can we be intentional about that? Because I think all of us see the connection between our mental health, spiritual health, and physical health, right? So if we are doing well physically, we're more apt to do well mentally, and then more apt to do well spiritually, right? And of course, there's always things getting in the way, and like it is very complicated, but the three of them are very interconnected.
Yeah, I think like for instance like what like even like spirits like someone's like, oh, like how can your spiritual health also affect your physical health? But it's like and the Bible says like your body's a temple of God, right? If you want to maintain your spirituality, should you not also maintain the body that God has given you and like preserve it as well? And then I think you bring a really good point, right? Like we talk about all like the what we should be doing, but the reality is it's so hard.
For sure.
But there is, I honestly do believe there is a difference. You can see a change. You can see like, yeah, there is a difference. There is a difference.
Yeah. That, I've been thinking about that a lot the last year. I don't exactly know why. It's just been convicting me. But like, yeah, earlier this year, I was like the heaviest I've ever been in my life, and I felt it. And I started thinking like, like this is the body I've been entrusted with by God. He's given me this, and I'm just filling it with garbage, like stuff that's not benefiting me in any way whatsoever. And I used to be like adamantly opposed to going to the gym, to exercising, like any of that, and it was kind of a stupid mentality. like, but and then I started doing it, and I was like, wow, like I not only do I feel better, but like I'm thinking clearer, like, and like I started respecting like what God's provided for me. Like I think I started thinking of it more like that. When I was like, man, I'm really starting to like take care of like the responsibilities God's given me.
This is like the year of like change though, like especially like, for working out, because around the same time, that's when one of our friends, Deborah, also started her workout like change. Similarly, I was also the heaviest I've ever been in January as well, because I was like I couldn't move because of my leg, and then two, I also was just doing I wasn't working. So I progressively each week I saw my weight jump up by 5 pound increments until I almost hit 200, which was horrifying for me. So I totally feel you on that. It's like, oh, maybe I should change. Also, when one of your friends tells you, hey, you got a little chub on your neck that seems like it's gonna stay, then you really know it's bad.
Yeah.
I had multiple people who were just like, I just felt uncomfortable because I was like, oh, this guy's touching my fat flab, and then a young man that formerly lived here was just like, Sam, you're kind of on the rounder established side. And I was just like,
who would have said
bruh.
that?
I had to think about that for a second. I was like, who did say that? Who used to live here? Oh, yeah.
Oh my goodness, he literally just moved out today.
Light switch.
Oh my gosh.
Dead to me.
Yeah, I had a coworker say to a customer that I was fat, basically, and I think she was half joking, but I don't know. It really hit me
It
hard.
resonates with you, right?
Yeah.
You're just like, oh, maybe I should do something with this, right? But then, like, I think also, I really like what you said. It's like, respecting what you have been given, right? I mean, also, let's be real. I would like to get married someday. I would like to,
What?
I know, shocking news. But like, you also want to look like I'm like, I don't know, like I like to think I want to look as good as possible for my significant other in the future. I mean, I'm sure they'll accept me at whatever state I'm in, but like,
Right.
it'd be a bonus if I looked mediocre. You know what I'm saying? So.
You gotta set the bar higher for yourself, man.
I mean, that's the thing. You gotta set the bar lower so then you can achieve it.
No, man. With God, I can do all things.
I can also give
Christ
myself
who
wiggle
strengthens
room to to just enjoy life as well. I'm kidding. I really am. Or am I? Or I mean, I could be just Tyler and just look good regardless.
You.
I wish my
I haven't
metabolism
shaven in
was
a
that
while.
fast.
My hair's not done.
No one can
Get
tell.
your hair
So it's
did.
good.
You have blonde hair.
Yeah.
I
it's
didn't even
good.
know your hair was long. I mean, facial hair.
Okay. I was like, my hair's okay. Anyways. But it's interesting. So I, in high school, studied culinary arts, and fun fact,
Ask him to cook for you.
no, but also like did a lot of nutrition, a lot of other things out of that, and I'd be like, oh yeah, no, like yeah, vegetables, multi grains, not white foods, you know, so like not white bread, not white rice, that kind of stuff. So like I know all that stuff, but yet like I still will go downstairs and make a peanut butter sandwich with white bread and eat it.
Right.
And like I'll be like, I'll make it. It's like, oh well, don't care about that.
Right.
Slap it together, and like that, like knowing and then thinking negatively about that also does not, you know, affect positively in mental health either.
Right.
So like instantly jumping to that guilt of like, oh, I'm eating this bad thing, or I'm not getting enough sleep, or I'm not, you know, taking enough time off, or
Right.
like, jumping to that and then beating yourself up on it is not. Is I don't want to say is worse per se, but it's just as equally as bad, right?
Yeah.
And of course, like forgiveness plays a big part in that, and like forgiving yourself for, you know, slipping up. Like the three of us are not coordinated apparently, but also like,
No.
like peak male performance, right?
Right,
For lack
right.
of a better word. Like I don't know. Like I'm not. None of us are in great shape. None of us eat like super healthy. We all don't get enough sleep, or too much sometimes. But
Sorry, Thomas, for not waking up.
he left this morning and no one was awake.
I had a
Rough.
dream that I woke up and said goodbye, and then I woke up in that dream, and then I realized I was still asleep. So, cut me some slack. I tried in my dream.
He doesn't text you, anyways. But like this idea of it's easy to blame yourself, and you know, and like that's in everything in life. Like you make a mistake, you make a mistake. You know, give yourself some slack, but also strive to do better.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it's learning from your mistake, right? I really appreciate how you say that. Like, we can be so hard on. Well, we are our own worst enemies, right? I think you said that in a previous podcast, actually, where you always keep beating yourself up because you're like, oh, you couldn't do this, you can't do that. I mean, many of us are perfectionists, and then when we don't do something right, we're just like, oh no, like, what have I done? But in reality, it's like you're gonna slip up. You're gonna have those days, and that's just life in a nutshell. But it's the matter of like how are you gonna get up and like find like ways and steps to like improve yourself and get over it, right? And I think that in itself, it comes back to discipline, right? Because if you're not working out, then you're not disciplining yourself. I say that as I haven't worked out in 2 weeks, but I want to go to the gym.
Badly.
Right now,
Just drop the
call it a
mics.
wrap. That's it.
Next
we're done.
episode
Goodbye.
is at the gym.
Back everything up.
Yeah, and and like the difference between just spewing some like pseudo motivational like quotes, you know, and I think what we're trying to convey is, you know, like we have God on our side for all this
Yeah.
too. So like, even if we can't do it, like we could strive and fail, but God can get us there too. And like the spiritual side of things too. I think a lot of people don't take that into consideration. Like they don't relate it to their physical or even emotional health. But I think that's what we're trying to bridge, right?
No, for sure. I think, like, clearly the three of us are not being terribly great motivational speakers.
Oh, not at
currently.
all.
Nor
No.
do I think the three of us are very good at it. But anyways,
I don't think I'd want to be.
that's a lot of hype. I don't have that much in me usually. But like, I think the thing we're trying to convey, and what you were just saying, was to show the connection
Yeah.
between physical, spiritual, and also mental health in a lot of ways. And like that's really complex and that's really crazy. And some people would be like, "Whoa, what?" Right? What? But like that's really important, right? And we were like kind of struggling to come up with a topic today. And when I mean kind of struggling, like it was really, it was hard.
Yeah.
We were really drawing some blanks.
If I'm being honest, part of it is because I haven't been taking care of myself.
Right.
I'm fried, and like I just couldn't come up with anything invigorating, or you know. Whereas last week I was rested. I was like, we're gonna talk about this. I'm ready for this. Like, so.
I mean, yeah. So like, I just recently started a new job, and it's like long days. It's good. I'm really excited, but I have to say that, you know, so I get sued. But
In case anyone at work sees this.
nah, no, but
Are you friends with anyone from work
not
on
really.
social
It's
media?
a small. No, actually, none of them. But anyways, but yeah, so it's super long days. Whatever. Like I enjoy longer days. Means I have more days off. But
Valid.
yeah, so I got home last night, and then we went out to dinner for Thomas's goodbye. I didn't feel super great at dinner. It was a disaster.
I mean,
Like,
that
I
dinner,
was
yeah.
mentally exhausted, didn't eat a lot, didn't feel good, and then got home, and like was joking around for Thomas, and like it was only like 10:30, and I was just like slumped on the couch downstairs. Like I couldn't do anything. Like and we were down there for like 45 minutes. Eventually, I made the effort to come up 2 flights of stairs and lie in bed, and I like got wrapped up in the blanket. I was out, right? And it was like 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
In retrospect, I had been up since 6, but like that's not that crazy.
Right.
But like just like the bad habits of not drinking enough water at work, and you know like
Stay hydrated.
yeah, stay hydrated. That's another whole thing we didn't even talk about. But
I'm
like
out of water.
yeah, like not doing good practices at work, then not really eating, but also like not feeling good at Thomas's goodbye dinner, and then like not also drinking water when I got home, and like you know,
It's just like a
it was just perpetual.
yeah.
Like bad decisions, and like that affected. I ended up sleeping for an extra, you know, like 3 hours this morning, and then I woke up more tired than if I had waken up on time, and so I mean, it goes back to the perpetual, but also like the smaller things can have such a larger effect in the long run.
And going back to what Chris said earlier, right? Like, if you also take care of your body, it's also a form of loving yourself, right? But I think also the important thing is that you not only love yourself, not just because like you're here, but also because God loved you first, right? I think that comes into play when into mental, right? I was talking to someone about this other person, and they're like, oh yeah, like how are they doing spiritually? And I was like, I don't know. I feel like they're not the type of person to be support, or the person that we were talking about. They don't seem the type of person to lean on others for support. And then my friend was like, yeah, of course not. I mean, like she's so like dependent on God, and like that's where she's at, right? And I was like thinking about that. I was like, wow, like for her, like she draws her power and her source from God. Granted, she is tired. Granted, she has like horrible days, but like to know like where you are drawing your source and where you find your identity. It comes back. I feel like every episode we end up bringing this up, but it really is rooting your identity in Christ, right? Like you are not the failures you are. You are found in the redeeming love of God, as opposed to just like your success and your failures, right? So I think that comes back to like the whole working out thing and everything, right? It's like you have been blessed, you are working on it, but at the end of the day, like God still is your core identity.
Yeah. I think I mentioned in my faith story a couple episodes ago that like this past year is where I think it's where I really started to believe that I was like loved and by God, and like really started to feel that way for the first time in a long time. And I think that's when I started taking better care of myself, because like, I don't know, that was really rooted in me. And it's like, oh, maybe I should, you know, show myself the same love God's been showing me.
Yeah.
No, not that that's possible, but you know, like maybe eat less pounds of M&Ms per week, or
I've had M&Ms in so
I had like a crisis on my birthday because I was given several pounds of M&Ms as gifts.
I remember that.
I had to give most of them away, and I was like, "This is like I might legitimately have a problem." Like, not only am I tempted to eat all of these, but like this is what people know me as, is like
the M&M
an
guy.
M&M fiend.
Are you yellow, red, blue, green?
I don't know. The green one's the seductive one, right? On the commercials.
Oh, thank God you made. I was like,
Oh, it's not a personal opinion.
No. It is objective. No, objectively. Yeah. I completely forgot they had like personified M&Ms, and I was just like,
just some like weird M&M pervert.
yeah, I was just like, bruh, like green's a nice color, but why is it not the red one? And now yes, the green one is the one in high heels.
Yeah.
And has eyelashes.
Yes.
Yikes! Personifications of M&Ms is not what I imagined us to be talking about.
I've always
That's exactly what I imagined.
considered myself the red one, my ringleader, you know?
Yeah.
That's true.
I'd probably be the yellow guy.
The peanut
Just
M&M not really
frumping
know what's
around.
going
Yeah.
on.
What about the caramel dude, the guy who's like, "Oh, have you seen my resume?"
Oh yeah.
With the glasses.
Thomas.
Oh. Hope that guy's doing
New
okay.
episode right here. Which M&M are you?
It's like the Enneagram.
I found out that I don't think I'm a 2-wing 3.
No.
And I think I might be a 4.
You talked about this last time we were here.
I think we did.
Yes, you did.
I just like to think about it because it's like, oh, I was angry the entire year. That's why I identify as a 2-wing 3. I don't really know anything about the Enneagram, to be honest. I know only my numbers.
I'm like a 6-weighing green M&M.
Dang, tying in the M&Ms, bruh.
Where are we?
Loving yourself.
Right.
You denying yourself M&Ms was a form of loving yourself
Sorry,
in
that
order
was-
to hold on to your
That's all my
identity.
fault.
Yeah, for real though. Yeah. That's- I think that's the point I was trying to make. Love yourself because God loved you first. You said it way better than I did.
Oh, green
'Cause you quoted the
seductive
Bible.
M&Ms. That captures the attendance. Comment. What color M&M are you?
I don't even know all the colors of M&Ms. We should do M&M
Shoot, that's
podcast.
making me think now. I
I
have no idea either.
I know them.
All of them?
Well, there's only a few.
Yeah, there's only 6 colors, I think.
Blue is the most recent one. They added that
Yeah.
in the 90s. I remember it.
I thought you were gonna say like 2010.
Red, yellow, blue, green,
Brown,
brown.
Orange is
orange,
not in there.
orange.
Orange.
Yeah,
I think that's it.
yeah. Unless they
Those-
have some special ones.
6, I was right.
Impressive.
Be proud of me. I know weird random fun facts.
Useless things, like we said
Useless.
earlier.
I have the most useless talents.
You'd be good for trivia.
I'm
Never mind.
I'm not that smart.
We got anything else we want to talk about?
I think we pretty much drove this topic off a cliff with that one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. You're gonna have to work around some editing stuff. 'Cause there are a bunch of graphics.
Amen to that. Yeah. In conclusion, the point we're trying to make here is that there is a very real connection between physical health, spiritual health, taking care of yourself, and it just kind of. I already used the phrase self-fulfilling, but
Go ahead again.
that's I think that's really what it is. You know, they relate to one another. I think we try to separate them, whether it's consciously or not, but they really, for the most part, can't really be
No,
much
for
of a
sure.
difference. You know, if you don't want too much spiritual health and not taking care of your physical health, or you're getting buff every day but totally neglecting your spiritual life. So. Yeah, we're just hoping to bridge the gap a little there. Well, not us, really. Try to talk about bridging the gap there. God's going to bridge that gap.
Gang to the gang.
But, yeah, thank you guys for watching yet another episode of Three Losers in a Church. I assume you're watching this on YouTube, if you're watching it.
It
Or-
might be on the podcast app by now. I have no
Yeah,
clue.
you could also be
we don't know
listening.
it's going to be in a month.
Regardless, be sure to like, follow, subscribe, hit the little bell
Ding.
for our notifications. I don't know what other things you can click on the podcast app.
I don't even know what else
You
we're...
could push dislike
Oh, yeah, please dislike the video if you
if
want to be
it's
real.
trash.
I disagree. I need affirmation constantly, or else I'll die.
Support Chris's mental health. Thank you.
Right? Because then he'll eat better.
Right.
And then he'll go work out.
Yeah.
And he'll
then
get swole.
Love Jesus more.
Dang.
So we're gonna be buff by the end of this
So if you
podcast.
dislike this video, you are then making Chris dislike Jesus more.
Wow. I'll do a squat for every like we get on this video.
Get ready to do 3 squats. 1, 2, 3.
Anyway, thanks guys. We out.